A critical moment today in the Israel-Hamas war. The ceasefire could be coming to an end after the final scheduled hostage release. That is, unless a deal is struck for another extension. Hamas freeing another 12 hostages Tuesday, including 10 Israeli women and 2 Thai citizens. Freed hostages coming back to Israel, however, many of them do not have a home to come back to. There are several organizations on the front lines helping families who have been impacted by this war. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has given clothing to evacuees who had to flee with nothing else than what they could carry on their backs. This organization has also donated money, fed soldiers, and sent flak jackets and first aid kits to emergency response units in the region. Yael Eckstein is the president and CEO of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews and joins us now to talk more about the work that you all are doing. Thank you and welcome back. Your teams have set up, I understand, a new emergency operations center. This is in Afula. Tell us about that.
Correct. Well, it's a mobile emergency center that goes around wherever we're needed. So for the first 3 weeks of the war, when there were 1,400 bodies that had to be identified, we set up at the center there, where there were hundreds of families who were gathered, and we provided them with food and with water and with shade, a place to sit, mattresses to sleep on. Some of the families came and said, "We're not leaving until we identify our loved ones." And the government of Israel asked us to provide those basics. And so that was very difficult. We always had at least 2 volunteers 24/7 there to support the families. And since then, it's moved on in order to help the evacuees. So we have children who are now evacuated from their house, many of them who have lost parents, siblings, or they're kidnapped in Gaza. And so the fellowship is there providing them with a little bit of love and care. And the biggest thing, I think, is the message that they're not alone.
Right. And that really makes me think about, you guys are more than armed with supplies, some of the things that you're delivering, the monetary goods, but to be able to support them and give them a shoulder to lean on, a hand to hold. I mean, there's a lot of training that goes into that, but also the emotional toll these people have experienced. You have to be ready for what you and your teams are facing. Can you explain more about that work?
It's a very different reality when you're working and being the leader of a staff and responsible for them in the middle of a war. I remember it was a very similar situation as we started operating in Ukraine as the war broke out. And so here in Israel, when we have our staff together, on one hand, I say, "How is everyone doing?" And the answer is that everyone's husbands or loved ones are deployed and fighting in this war of survival for Israel. And everyone emotionally is feeling as good as they are because they're able to give. And so our staff is on the ground providing over 4,000 flak jackets to first responders, ambulance drivers, firefighters, the drivers of the trucks who are delivering the meals. The fellowship's distributing hundreds of meals to elderly and bomb shelters every day, and centers like these that are helping the orphans and the widows from the October 7th attacks. And so it's hard emotionally. I think no matter what you are, what you're doing, living in a war zone is difficult. It's emotionally challenging, but being in a position that you're able to go out and help, even though you're seeing firsthand the atrocities that were committed and the people who are suffering because of it, it also is a very empowering feeling to be able to go and say, "I represent millions of mostly Americans, but people around the world." It's the silent majority, especially within all of the anti-Semitism that's rising, that I get to go and represent millions of people who say, "We stand with Israel."
Yeah, what an incredible job and responsibility that you have. You also have a mobile emergency response center that you were just talking about. You've established there are groups who have traveled to Israel from across the world, including some Americans. There's a few teams of Americans as part of this group. Can you tell me specifically about them?
Well, we have volunteers on a regular basis, both from Israel and abroad. And actually, it was amazing. Some of the most famous people in Israel were cowboys from America, cowboys who heard about the war in Israel, who are proud Christians and said, "We're going to Israel to help in whatever we can." One of the biggest problems was actually agriculture. It continues to be. Israel grows over 95% of the produce that we consume. And so we're in a state of crisis, both because many of the foreign workers who work on these fields left when the war began, Many of the fields were burned and destroyed from the Hamas terrorists who infiltrated and from the thousands of rockets who have often hit in these fields. And so these cowboys came to Israel, dropped everything. And so they were some of our volunteers who came and brought a lot of joy to the children of Nachal Oz, which is one of the kibbutzim that was very hard hit with murders and kidnapping on October 7th.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.